Welcome, Diecast Emporium fans, and thank you for tuning in to another video brought to you by Buffalo Road Imports, ConstructionScaleModels.com. Right now, we are actually down in the man cave. Right next to me, to the right is a bar. Behind that, over to the corner is a 72-inch TV, I believe, something like that. And of course, directly to my, well, I guess that would be what? I should really know this in my line of work. I guess to my 6 o'clock would be where the 95% of my models are. But I digress. In this video, I wanted to give you guys a brief overview of my red fleet of trucks that I have. However, most of these items have already been reviewed on my channel, so as I show you a very, very quick description of the truck, look at the top of your screen, and if it has already been reviewed, I will post a link. So all you have to do if you want to see more information or if you want to see a more in-depth showcase of that vehicle, just click on that little icon that pops up. So, without wasting too much time, first model I have to show you is one of those models in the aforementioned category of already been reviewed. Used to have this in yellow as well. At the time of this video, though, it currently resides with my good friend Kale, Diecast Construction Expert on Instagram and YouTube. This is the Jerdan rollback tow truck made by TWH, 1/50th scale. Again, a model that was discontinued once TWH folded. Nothing to complain about. I love this truck. A lot of different posing opportunities, some great detail. So again, if you want to take a more in-depth look at it, look at that bubble on top of the screen, and it will take you straight to that video. Next is a sword model. And they made a bunch of these. It is the Mack Granite truck with an entire liquid asphalt distributor body on it. As you would expect from Sword, this is a top-notch model in literally every category. They've even gone as far as to include a battery box cover, which is what you saw pop off. So if you want to cover your battery box, all you got to do is just plug this in. It is a loose fitting, obviously, so as soon as you move the model, it will pop out. But as I've said before, with mirrors and other things, if you want something to sit in there but you don't necessarily want to glue it, use some putty, and that should be enough to hold it in. This has also been reviewed. I used to have a black one of these as well, so not going to spend too much time on it. However, it is a good idea to show you the back of it, because that's where the business end of this machine would be anyway. And the liquid asphalt spray bars, a ton of intricate detail. So this is definitely one review I would suggest you go and watch, especially if you're on the fringe of purchasing one. So we'll get him out of the way. And the next up is a Peterbilt with an Elliott Fuel and Lube body. So actually a funny story about this. I ordered this obviously from my good friends at Buffalo Road Imports, but it came in a Peterbilt 357 dump box. So I was kind of like, all right. So I contacted them, and of course, not an issue there. They sent me the correct box, and everything is just gravy. Another very, very detailed collector's model. My only complaint with these Sword Peterbilt models, and I don't know why it seems to be more of an issue with the Peterbilts than it is the Macks, but the mirrors are always a true test of patience. There will be times where you honestly contemplate throwing the model out the window. There are times where you just say, you know what, I'm not putting any mirrors on this, and the guy's driving blind, because it can just get that annoying. But other than that, in almost every category that I use to review a scale model, this model meets or exceeds my expectation. Again, if you want a more in-depth review of this, just click on that little bubble that appears at the top of your screen. One model, however, that I have not yet reviewed is the next model up. Again, made by TWH Collectibles about 3-4 years ago. Is the National Crane 1300 boom truck mounted on a Peterbilt chassis. Great model. And for the most part, I got mine for about $165, so really, I think this is a pretty good price for a model such as this. I know I still have to do a review on it, but they offered it in red. They offered it in the standard National Crane. I guess it would be like cream and brown color, which really wasn't appealing to me at all. There was a black one and several other colors. Excuse me. Great model to have, even if you're not into cranes. I am certainly a guy that's not into cranes, which is why I have like 3 in my collection. But I definitely wanted this, so I went ahead and picked it up. And it's perfect for using small, doing small jobs, such as placing concrete barriers down for road construction applications if you want to use that in your dial. On the complete other end of the spectrum in terms of detail and nicety, for lack of a better term, here is the Norscot Caterpillar CT660 dump truck, only offered in 2 versions of this, the red with the gray dump box and the cat yellow with the black dump box. Obviously, this is my favorite of the 2 color combinations. Hood opens, it dumps, it does everything you'd want a dump truck to do, with the exception of the drop axle actually being able to drop. If you will notice, it does not roll when you're on a smooth surface. However, when you're on a surface with some sort of resistance and texture, it will roll a little bit there. So it's supposed to replicate it in the fixed position. However, that just doesn't work out that well. Speaking of models that can get beyond annoying and tedious, in fact, I'm not even going to bring this one out too far because it's a pain in the rear end. This is the Sword Peterbilt with an East dump body on it. A lot of detail, a lot of great functionality. Other than the mirrors, the main issue I have with this model is this black tarp. It literally is impossible to get this tarp back on when you take it off. I wish I would have known that. I would have spent hours trying to get it back on, and it still doesn't even look that great because I would not have messed around with it. However, if you're into dump trucks and you want a top-notch straight dump truck, then I would recommend picking one of them up just for that reason. Next is a interesting story as well. Here is a Peterbilt tractor hauling an East dump trailer. So, initially, Sword introduced the dump trailer as either an option. You can get it with a tractor or just buy it with the trailer. However, when I bought this very recently, I just wanted the trailer because I didn't like any of the other color combinations that they have with the tractors. So I ended up working out a deal with a couple friends of mine and ended up getting this dump body. Then I talked to my good buddy Sean, MEH Diecast on Instagram and YouTube, check him out, and said, hey man, look, I want the Peterbilt that goes with this truck. Would you happen to have one in red? So we worked out a deal, and essentially I have now the complete set, which is what I wanted in the beginning. Great set, top quality model, nothing to complain about there. All right, so as we move over here, I'm not even going to bring this out. I feel like I would be beating a dead horse. You guys know how I feel on the Tonkin Replicas CT680 program. Absolutely love them. This one is hauling a Sword flatbed trailer. I'll show you guys. There it is right there. I've got a couple different things on it, such as some concrete barriers, slab grab bucket, and a Ingersoll Rand light tower. I know diecastmodels.co used to hand these out like candy. A few years ago, if you made a significant purchase, you got this model for free. So that's why I have this. And it came with an ATS blue livery Freightliner truck. But again, I don't really have a use for that, so it pretty much just resides in the box. Another CT680 with a first gear Talbot Lowboy, which, again, you guys have seen a million times. And this one I cheated on a little bit. This is a Matchbox Ultra Mac. What's the exact number on this? I'll totally screw this up. Matchbox Ultra, I know it's on here somewhere. Bear with me here, guys. Mac CH600. Another model I've had since childhood. Really, it's closer to 1:43 scale, but this was the tractor I was using for the beam trailer that was custom built by my friend Pat. And honestly, you can't really tell size difference too much to the naked eye. But this is what the Freightliner that I'm waiting for is going to replace. Nice little piece for Matchbox, really. They did a pretty good job on that. So, if you'll excuse me, now that I have models everywhere, let's get some organization back, and I will bring out the last red truck to show you. So just bear with me 1 second, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, sorry for that slight interruption, but the last model I have to show you guys here in red is probably my favorite. Originally released as a sword model. Many of you know that WSI has taken over the molds for the sword models. This is the Peterbilt 379 heavy haul tractor in the standard red paint scheme with the red Rogers Lowboy. Fantastic, fantastic model. Tons of detail. Absolutely love this machine. And for the price, absolutely, I would recommend it. $219, I believe, is what I paid for it. You just can't go wrong. So the tractor is pretty straightforward. It is the same tractor that many of you guys have had, and it is the same tractor that comes with the Vermeer tub grinder, which I also know you guys have. So right now I have it carrying a, with the extended boards out, flanks out, a 330D Norscot. But one of my favorite things about this model is right at the rear end of it. I've never had this on any other model until I bought one, and that's, of course, this flip axle. So if you're carrying an ultra-heavy load, you can insert a pin and lock it into place, or you can choose to leave it in that position and just carry it like this. As with all other sword trucks, it does come with a with your hose lines that would plug into the trailer. But I really like this diamond plating texturing all over the wheels. I think that looks great and a fantastic touch to it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it went a little bit longer than I would have liked to, but I've been doing a lot of pictures of this on Instagram lately, and I know a lot of people have been asking me to do a video on a couple of these. So here it is, and like I said, whenever that Freightliner decides it wants to come to Emporium HQ, and or whenever the U.S. Postal Service determines that they haven't lost it, I will be sure to do a video on that as well. So as always, guys, thank you very much for your continued patronage, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.